Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have a lot more fun. I'm your host, Paul Sanneman. I'm the founder of Contractor Staffing Source, where we help contractors build great teams. I have as my guest this morning, Joe Darragh from Pillar Digital Marketing. And okay, Joe, here's the question. Why should people listen to you particularly? What's your background?
Well, before I was a marketer, I was a white-collar crime investigator. I actually worked at the IRS and the Securities and Exchange Commission. And along the way, I realized that a lot of those same skills I would use as an investigator and to put together cases, they had to be clear, easy for people to understand. A lot of those skills translate directly to what local businesses and in particular home service businesses need.
Okay, now so show me how the FBI criminal investigation can help you, a plumber, find more clients. I want to see that. How you
So not FBI. So I worked a lot with the FBI, but I was at the Securities and Exchange Commission and the IRS. And
everybody loves the IRS.
so I know. So that's why I left, actually. But I learned a lot of skills, and I worked closely with a lot of small businesses. And one lesson I learned, for example, is dealing with people at the IRS. It's not the business owner's fault a lot of times. It's some technical thing that they had wrong, bad advice. So from the marketing side of it, what I really wanted to do was, how can we highlight maybe what each business should be doing? What are those foundational steps so that they can start getting found online? I started looking around as I realized that home service businesses are number 2 or number 3 every single year on the most reported scams to the Consumer Federation of America. That includes home builders and service businesses. And I started thinking a lot about it. And when I was renovating my own home, I had a really hard time finding good trade businesses, a good plumber, a good kitchen remodeler. And when I started looking at some of their online presences, a lot of red flags kept going up for me as an investigator. How they're wording their message, the lack of messaging, the lack of signals that they are actually who they say they are on their website. And one of the things I would see a lot is the statement "best roofer" in Westchester, for example, or New York City. And there are these really vague statements that aren't really telling a customer much about your story as a business.
Okay. So now the other question I have with you is, with your background, there's some debate between, there's SEO, building your brand, that takes money and time. Yep. And there's pay-per-click and Google, the Google things you pay for to get higher on the website. So, and the marketing budget, I've heard numbers from, 2% to 15%, depending on who you're talking to. So I guess would be a question I'm going to ask for you, your opinion on how to regulate your funds or disperse your funds between SEO and pay-per-click, and also how much money should I spend?
Well, I mean, it depends, and I'm sure you get this answer a lot, but it really depends on so many different factors. So rather than telling a business specifically what they should be spending as far as a budget, anywhere from 3 to 5% for a business that's more well established should get you going. But that's not always realistic, especially for businesses with less revenue that are maybe in the earlier years of existence. So what we like to do is take the right steps in the right order so that we can make it efficient. There's something called the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the results typically come from 20% of the effort. So we really try to say, okay, what work can we do that's going to continue paying dividends into the future as the business grows? And put 2 buckets. You have SEO, and then you have the pay-per-click ads. SEO is a lot longer term strategy. It takes a lot longer to work, though. The ads are shorter term, but once you turn them off, the results stop. So if you're a business that's just getting started, which do you choose? Instead of thinking about SEO as this technical thing, what we like to talk to our clients about is thinking about SEO as storytelling. There's a lot of other businesses that do what you do in the areas that you service. What makes you unique? What are those benefits or results that really set you apart? And it could be something as easy as 24/7 service. Maybe you have weekend appointments for people that work long hours. And those little bits of information, Google understands that as you put things like that on your website, on your Google business profile, and over time, they collect signals that you're qualified, you're reputable, you're trustworthy. Google will see if somebody searches roofer near me and they click on your website and they leave right away, that's a negative signal to Google
Right.
that, hey, maybe we shouldn't show this business again. So the question
What?
becomes, how do we make sure that people, once they click to the website, stay there? And Google learns, they see that entire customer journey, they see them scrolling down the page, they'll notice if they fill out your form. And as Google collects those signals, they're going to show you more in search results. So what we'll typically do is start with that story. Start by making sure that it's easy for a new potential customer to learn who you are, what you do, and what makes your business unique. And
Right.
then over
So,
time, the SEO is going to keep working for you, and the ads sort of supplement that.
so as I see it, you know, AI is making Google smarter and smarter, right? It used to
Correct.
be keywords. Now they literally, did the guy answer the phone or not answer the phone? How long did the guy
Right.
spend on the website? Where did he go to high school? Has he ever been in jail? It's like getting
Yep.
crazy, right? So AI is doing really good at investigating your business way better than it used to,
Correct.
which could be the good news, the bad news. At the same time, being better at investigating your business and your website, it's important that you tell it what it wants to hear, right?
Not
Because
necessarily what it just wants to hear, but a true and accurate story about who you are and what you do, the results that you deliver. And you brought up sort of the keywords component of it. And having the right language, that descriptive, detailed language is still important. But search engines like Google understand context now, and they understand more than just the words. So you don't necessarily need to focus as much about jam-packing a bunch of keywords on your site. If you would just paste a photo into AI, like I don't know if you've ever heard of something like ChatGPT,
right.
it will describe that photo in such intricate detail, it will blow your mind.
No,
The
we use
picture of
AI
the room.
for a lot of stuff. So now the other question I'd have, so I'm the Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, I'm a big believer in that. So when you look at your marketing budget, let's say I'm going to say you're spending 50,000 a year, come with a number, right? And let's make the number either 100 because I should do the math. You're spending 100,000 a year, and theoretically, 20,000 of the budget is getting you 80% of results, and the other 80,000 of your budget is getting 20%.
Correct.
So how do you know which 20% is getting you the 80% of results? How do you measure that or tell that?
You got to be collecting those really simple data points. And when you say data, it scares a lot of people away. But data is just information that you use to make decisions. And if you've ever taken an umbrella with you when you left the house because you looked outside and it was raining, you've collected data before. So
Right.
we try to do the same things where any type of ad spend, we're measuring it. Cost per conversion, how much does it actually cost for you to get that lead? And then we'll look at different parts of the marketing, but over and over again, the SEO is what gets that ROI up and your cost to get a lead down, because that's the gift that keeps on giving. It's sort of like building a house. Build the website first from the start. It doesn't need to be huge. You don't need to build a mansion, but do it right. Make that foundation strong. Make sure your messaging is clear and the customer journey is easy for them to find you on Google, see from your Google business profile, that preview, hey, here's some nice photos, looks like they do great work, it looks like they're located in my area. Customer clicks to the website, and now we're giving them that overview of the problems that you can help them with, helping them learn if you might be a good fit as a business owner. And even if you just started with that homepage, there's things that you need in place so that you can understand that customer journey. You can collect data to see how long are they staying on the page, are they calling you, clicking to fill out your form. And once you build that core of your website, you can add more pages over time. And an example I give, a lot of roofing contractors will do siding, they'll do windows, doors, they'll do a few other things that aren't their key business. I would start with a homepage that just outlines those services. Their leading category is a roofer. And now, as they have more money to reinvest in SEO and add more pages to the website, as they grow, you can add a page specific to siding, a page specific to windows and doors. And as you go deeper into that messaging, Google starts understanding more about you. They start showing you for more search phrases, and you're giving people more information up front. So you're not spending as much time in that sales cycle. And you really just want to make it so that you're guiding people along learning about you. You don't want to stuff, or in our experience, stuffing things like best roofer or, your top
Well,
choice.
one
It
of the
doesn't
things I
mean
learned
much.
the other day about roofers was literally their software. You can literally, when we get on the phone, you can, with whatever they get, there's a picture of every roof on the planet. How they figured
Yep.
out it's magic, but you can say, oh, I'll get back to you in 10 minutes with an estimate because I know where your roof is. I know what you're looking for. And literally you can do everything with airplanes now and literally look at the
Yep.
roof, come with equipment, come back with an estimate. It's like $15 an estimate. It's insane cheap.
Yep.
So, having the right technology along with the right marketing, I think is going to make you very competitive. Now,
Correct.
when you pin on something else, I see, and maybe you've seen this show, is AI is changing the industry in a lot of ways because in a way that I didn't anticipate, actually. There's a lot of capital out there. I mean, like hundreds of millions of dollars. And they used to be going into, movie theaters or various kinds of industries, health, education, law. But now AI is disrupting that so bad that money's going, oh crap. I had a guy literally was giving me $800 million movie theater. Once he saw, sorry, went done with the movie theater. It's going to happen or not. What was it? A studio. No one needs studios anymore. So I see that happening. This capital is coming into, because it's a long time before AI is going to put a roof on or change plumbing. So there's a lot of capital coming in, which to me means that you get a lot of people coming in that are spending more money on marketing, on software, and recruiting. They're doing a better job of being a business.
Mm-hmm.
And, the old times of just do a good job and answer the phone isn't going to cut it in the future.
It's not, and you have to continuously be looking to how can I use technology as a tool. I don't think we're anywhere near being a supplement for humans in either the sales process. So you give the example of, taking the picture and giving that estimate without ever going out there. But is there an element of that human connection that helps people trust you a little bit more when you are out there in person? Is that going to affect how many leads you get or how many you have the lead at that point, how many sales you would get? So,
it's all about relationship.
Where should
I
you be
agree.
using these tools? How can you use them to make you more efficient? But you can't rely on them completely. But they are things that you can be working into your systems, your processes to, it's at that level where it could be helpful in those scenarios.
Right. I mean, it's still about relationship and,
Correct.
then trust. And you got to
Correct.
have trust and relationship to sell somebody something.
And that's really what it's all about and what we try to pitch to our customers, because you really think about, like, websites didn't exist 30 years ago, and who knows in another 30 years if they're going to exist. So really focus on that story, who you are, what you do, what makes you unique. It could start sort of high level, and as you grow, think about, Rocky. They didn't start by writing all 5 or 6 Rocky movie scripts. They started one, it did well, they made 2 and 3 and 4, and the story evolved over time. And kind of do the same thing with your marketing. So story is everything. Keep putting signals into the universe that you are who you say you are. Great reviews, great photos of your work. If you're mentioned in local newspaper, press, if you get links from, your local chamber of commerce, from, local community sources, all of those things are signals that you're doing a good job. If you do a good job, if you don't, then they're going to be negative signals, bad reviews, people leave your website
Well,
quick.
now, no review is on. It's not quite bad as a bad review, but I know reviews are really important because people have to like you.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, so like you tell this story on your website, right? But that's you telling it. So now we got to put signals out there that this story is in fact true. And if you think about Google as just another person that can refer you, referrals are everybody's favorite way to find a home builder or a home service business by far. And Google is just one more person to refer you that happens to have billions and billions of friends. How can you earn Google's trust so that you get those free leads and then you supplement that with the ads? But even if you're running ads, Google's looking at things like ad quality score. They're not going to push people, even if you're using a paid ad. Google's not going to push somebody to your website if you're not a good business, you're not good at what you do, your website's terrible. They need to be
The
sending
bad
people high
reviews,
quality
that's not good,
businesses.
right?
So, it used to be that you could trick Google into showing up on Google and that you can pay for clicks to your website. But as technology, artificial intelligence gets smarter, understands context, they want to match the best choice for the person searching. That means something different
Right.
for everybody. Google really understands a lot about each individual person's demographics, their buying behaviors, their habits, where they're located, how much money they make. It's not quite there yet where it's perfect, but it's getting there. And if you just
It's
focus
way,
on, take
it
all the
just wants to
jargon out
match
of
the
it.
right person with the right business. You have to give it information to do that.
Correct,
So,
exactly. And photos, reviews, and just, that's really, I've had to do two things: lots of good photos, lots of reviews on Google, and you'll grow. It's not going to be as fast as if, as it would be if you built a huge website and run paid ads and are also posting on social media. But you can start growing an online presence and start building your reputation with just a Google business profile. It's the simple
right,
things that really get the results with marketing.
that's true. Well, Joe, if someone is interested and, feels like they relate to you from this podcast, how do they start with you? Do they get like a free diagnostic interview? I mean, how do people get started with you?
Yeah, so they can go to pillar.fyi/grow. So that's pillar.fyi/grow. We schedule a quick 15-minute phone consultation. Either myself or my partner, Mark, will give you a call, help answer any questions you have, and help you learn whether or not we might be a good fit for you. If you think we might be, we do a deeper dive and we do what we call a marketing inspection, where we go over some of these basics, make sure that you have everything you need in place, and make some recommendations for the future.
Okay, cool. And then I imagine your price depends on the size of the business and what you do, right?
It does. I mean, we try to make our pricing pretty transparent. As far as building websites, they start at $1,500 for a one-page WordPress website. We have a blueprint we follow that's consistently gotten results for everything from roofers to garage door contractors to plumbers. We customize that framework to tell each business's unique story. And then depending on what their goals are, we'll make recommendations on next steps. How big do we go with the website? Where else should you be looking to raise awareness about your business?
Cool. Okay. Well, thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. So I would suggest if, anybody should, I think, review your marketing. You just once a year, make sure you're in the right place at the right time. So, and things are changing a lot. Some people are adapting, some people aren't. So if you currently have a marketing company, I would let's consider, people like Joe sort of say, are they doing as well as Joe can do? And so if you don't have a marketing company, you should definitely give them a call. But today, most service businesses are doing some kind of marketing, but they're not sure what's the right marketing or not. So I love the 80-20 thing. And maybe if you call Joe, he can tell you where the 20-80 is to your marketing budget, and that'd be really good information. So thank you, Joe. I really appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. And if I could leave everybody with one tip, just search
Sure.
your own business on Google, follow that customer journey, and ask yourself, are you giving your customers everything that you'd be looking for if you yourself were looking at your business to hire?
Okay.
You're a
Would you
customer
hire
of other
yourself, right?
businesses. You know what you want. You know what people are looking for. You're smart. So take all the jargon out of it, search your business, click through just like a customer would, and ask yourself, how can you make that customer's life easier?
Perfect. That's great advice, Joe. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Paul.
Thanks for being here.